Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Today we are doing a live on how to value yourself and how to listen to your intuition. So the difference between intuition and fear. And so this was a Q&A. I had a couple people tell me questions that they wanted answered. And so when we're talking about valuing ourselves and really wanting to begin to put ourselves first, the first thing that we have to do is start recognizing when we are putting ourselves on the back burner. And so we're going to dive into that. And then we're also going to dive into the question that I got was how to recognize your intuition versus when your fear is trying to come to the forefront. So what we'll first cover today is going over how to stop feeling like that your needs aren't as important as other people's. And so this comes with valuing ourselves. And this also comes down to our worthiness. When we don't feel like we're worthy, then we feel like we have to put everyone else's needs ahead of our own. And this also can stem from codependency. And in these moments when we feel like we're not allowed to have needs, or we're not allowed to express our needs or take care of our needs, what's happening is we're really betraying ourselves. And every time our needs don't get met and we put someone else ahead of ourselves, that's when our self-esteem starts to plummet. I used to be somebody that was a major people pleaser. I honestly, I think a lot of you can relate to this, is I didn't even know that I was allowed to say no. I grew up in a home where I had to be very agreeable, and it was kind of a strict household. And there was no such thing as boundaries. I didn't even know what boundaries were or that I was allowed to set them. I always wanted to be the good person. I wanted to be the nice person, the person that would do things for others and be humble. A lot of those things that are taught to us as children of, put others before ourselves. And that can be okay when we have healthy self-esteem and self-worth. But if we lack that, if we lack self-love and we lack self-worth and we lack self-esteem and we overgive, and it's also coming from the intention of I want to be loved and I want to be accepted, then the intention behind it isn't pure, right? And so when we're overgiving or we're putting other people's needs ahead of our own, I'm sure you could probably recognize that there's resentment that comes in with that. There's a lot of resentment that you begin to feel because your needs aren't getting met and you're overgiving. So your cup isn't being filled up and you're still overgiving. And so when we're in those moments, we get exhausted. Again, we get resentful, and we're pouring from an empty cup. And so what we have to start doing is, this is where boundaries are really, really beneficial and where they come into play. And so we have to set boundaries for ourselves and for others, and we have to make ourselves a priority and make that non-negotiable. So anytime you feel like you are catching yourself in those moments of putting others before yourself, and you're overexerting yourself in order to help or please somebody else, you just have to take a step back and say, okay, why am I doing this? Is the core reason because I want to be loved or accepted? Which usually is the core reason we do that, because we think we're supposed to. And so getting into a routine of being able to give to yourself, whether that is, self-love, I think it gets this rap of being all about like spa appointments and, overindulgence. And honestly, what self-love is we have to be able to do things that build ourselves up. So whether that's exercise, whether that is going to a yoga class or doing yoga at home, saying affirmations in the mirror, we have to be able to build ourselves up so we stop feeling like we aren't valued. We have to value ourselves first. When we value ourselves first, we train other people how to treat us. And so if we are putting ourselves first, we're taking care of our mental and physical health, then we have the energy to give to others, and especially our children. So often I hear, well, I have to put my kids first. That is true to some degree, but let me tell you from my personal experience and coaching so many other women is when we put ourselves first, then we're able to be a better mother. We're able to be a better girlfriend or a better wife, a better friend, a better daughter. Whatever the case may be, we're more able to be that person because we're not emotionally exhausted and we're not resentful. So we have more to give, right? And so we have to get out of that mindset that others benefit from us overexerting ourselves. They benefit from seeing us happy. Think about your children seeing their mom happy. Think about as when you were a child, if you saw your mom happy and she wasn't stressed out all the time and she wasn't yelling all the time, like she was just feeling good, and so she was able to play with you and she was able to hold your emotions because she took care of herself first. Imagine if you were upset and your mom just held you and she just told you that everything was going to be okay and she loved you so much and was just building you up. How big of an impact would that have on you today? And so when it comes to, when you're saying, well, I have to put my kids first, I have to put these people first, I have to put my coworkers or whatever the case may be, my business, what's happening is we're becoming emotionally unavailable. And so we have to be able to put ourselves first so we can be the best boss, we can be the best mom, because our happiness really is the foundation for our relationships. If you notice, when you're stressed out and when you're resentful and you feel like you are unimportant, how does that play out in your relationships? Do you get snappy? Do you fly off the handle with things? Do you give the silent treatment? Like, what happens for you? And with your kids, I know that if I don't take care of myself, I can get really snappy and I get really irritated. But when I do take care of myself and I do put myself first, not only am I teaching my daughter how to do that, but it's also making me more available to play with her and have fun and be carefree, right? And so when you're doing this, when you're practicing this, we have to say, what's going to make me happy? This is okay to be selfish. We have to normalize being selfish. Being selfish gets such a bad rap. And being selfish is so important. And we have to kind of give it a whole new meaning, right? So being selfish, how can I take care of myself today? What can I do for me today? You are with you for the rest of your life. And you want to make sure that you're okay with that person and that you are giving yourself what you need, right? So what do I need today? What will make me happy? What can make my life 1% easier today? Is that setting boundaries? Is that going on a walk with your dog? Is it, making yourself a nice dinner or a nice breakfast? Maybe it's just sitting in silence without anybody talking to you for, 20 minutes. That's okay too. My morning routines are very, very sacred to me. And my daughter knows, do not interrupt the morning routine, because that is something that I do for myself every morning so that I can put myself first, so then I can be the best for my clients, for my daughter, for my family. And I think when you start to notice that and you become okay with it, we have so much shame and guilt around putting ourselves first. And when we do something for ourselves, we're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have bought that for myself, or maybe I should have been doing something else. That guilt that we feel is just so unnecessary. And so we have to recognize that guilt and just say, I recognize that I'm feeling guilty right now, but I'm choosing to love myself instead. Really, those simple words of just choosing to love yourself instead of the bad feelings that you're feeling. That's retraining your brain to think better feeling thoughts and to shift from guilt and shame and sorrow and frustration and resentment to I'm doing what's best for me, and that's best for my family, that's best for everyone else, and I'm okay with that. And I'm learning that and I'm practicing it. This is a big muscle that we have to start exercising. The more that you do this, the easier it will become. So I hope that that was really helpful for you. That was a really great question from someone in this group. And then the next question is how to listen to your intuition instead of your fear, and how to decipher between the two. And so our intuition, what our intuition is it's our higher self, our gut. Like, you know, when we say, oh, we had a gut feeling about something, or something didn't feel right in my gut, that is your intuition. Our intuition is always there for us and always, always speaking to us. And all we have to do is we have to sit back and listen to it. And the intuition is there solely for that purpose, so that we can get in touch with ourselves. The only person that knows what's best for you is you. And so when we tune into ourselves and we listen to the messages, have you guys ever had an experience where you didn't listen to your intuition? Like something small was saying like, hey, something's not right here. Oh, that's weird. That doesn't really add up. And we kind of ignored it. And then there were some like yellow flags that started to come up, and it was trying to give us a stronger message. And it's like, hey, you know, something's not right here. Please pay attention. And we're like, oh, that's weird. That doesn't add up. And then we like start stuffing down that intuition, that inner voice. And then we get hit with like a major red flag or a major, tumultuous experience. I know for myself, my intuition kept telling me to stop seeing this guy that I was seeing. And when I would drive to go see him, I had this really bad feeling about going. And what happened was I went anyway. I didn't listen to my intuition. I was getting really, really sick while I was seeing this guy. And this would happen all the time. I would feel this feeling of like, I need to stop this because it doesn't make me feel good, because he doesn't want a relationship with me, but we're acting like we're in a relationship. And so my intuition was just like, stop seeing this guy, stop seeing this guy. And so on my way home from seeing him, I got into a really bad car accident. That was like my red flag after a bunch of little yellow flags. And so I listened for about a month, and then of course my codependency kicked in and I missed him. And so then I went to see him again. He was out of state. And then I got really, really sick and ended up in the hospital for like 4 days and was on bed rest for almost a month. And so, you know, those are things that happen when we don't listen to our intuition. Maybe not as severe or prominent for some of you, but I think if you can kind of trace back and you can see like, okay, this was a yellow flag and then this red flag happened, and that's what caused me to change, right? Or that's what got my attention. So the difference between intuition and fear is your intuition is this inner knowing voice, and it's a calm voice. It's like, it feels very safe and loving and nurturing. And it's like, just, hey, this doesn't really seem right. Okay. And so it's this like calm inner knowingness. And then your fear is racing thoughts, unlovingness. Your fear is like, oh my gosh, this is going to happen. This person's going to cheat on you. This is, kind of, it feels like a major like alarm, and you can start to decipher it by saying, okay, what is this trying to tell me? What is the evidence behind this? We have to always look at the evidence. I always have my clients become really aware of stacking up the evidence. And so what I mean by that is, does this person say, and I'll put it like this. If we are in a relationship with somebody, and we start having intuition feelings of, this isn't the right relationship for me. And, we see red flags, but we begin to ignore them. So that's when we notice like, that doesn't seem right. That is the intuition speaking to us. And so we have to look at, okay, is there evidence of why I would feel this way? Maybe he lied. Maybe what he's doing isn't adding up. Maybe he is known for cheating and he has a lot of these past experiences, right? And so that would be stacking up the evidence of why you feel this way, okay? And so once you're able to do that, that's when you can say, okay, this is my intuition, and then you get to make a decision based on that evidence. And so it's very logical, and we have to have logic when dealing with these things because our emotions get in the way so often. And when we start to feel love, or we start to feel like, that connection with someone or that chemistry, what actually happens is part of our brain shuts down, the judgment part of our brain shuts down, and we make poor judgments. And so that's why and again, this is like a muscle that we have to exercise. And so we have to look at it with logic, and that's where we stack up the evidence. And then when it comes to the fear, imagine you are in a relationship, the guy isn't toxic, like, you're not really used to it. And you're like, maybe he didn't text you back right away. Maybe he took a couple hours because he was at work or he was with his friends or his family. And all of a sudden you have this like urgency. It's like you're getting triggered. And it's like, oh my God, he's cheating on me. He hasn't texted me back in an hour and he's probably with some other girl. And your brain starts going down all these rabbit holes. And so in those moments you can say, okay, this is my fear. And when you're feeling that fear, again, this is where we stack up the evidence. Does this person exude any red flags? Does this person have any evidence of him not being trustworthy? If no, then you can be like, okay, fear, I hear you. I know that you're trying to keep me safe, but I'm choosing peace instead. And just those simple, our ego and our fear tries to keep us safe. That's its job, but it ruins a lot of our relationships. And so we have to understand when our fear is getting in the way of something that's good for us. And, I experience this with my clients all the time, especially people getting into my program. There's so much fear around the unknown and the fear of the change. And our fear is like, oh my gosh, I don't want you to heal because that means we have to go back to, things that are uncomfortable. And what if you fail? And what if it doesn't work? And so that fear comes up and it's trying to keep you safe, and that's great. But we have to recognize that it's actually harming us. Our fear can harm us when we're trying to heal and have different experiences because it likes comfortability. And even though it's uncomfortable to be in these toxic relationships and it's comfortable to have these toxic traits, it's all, or as uncomfortable as those are, it's comfortable because it's all you've ever known. And the unknown is scary because you haven't experienced it yet, right? And so this is just where we have to continue to stack that evidence of what is this trying to tell me, and is it logical or not? Is there evidence to back it up? So those are, the questions that I got for today. And I hope that this was really helpful for you. I loved both of these questions so much. And if you all have any questions that you want me to answer on my lives in the future, go ahead and put them in the comments below. And I will answer them. All right, have a great rest of your day, everyone.